Hello guys, welcome to the next video tutorial on C programming for beginners, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can use function in C and what is a function. So first of all, what is a function? A function is a piece of code or a block of code which we can use to perform a particular task. For example, adding two numbers. You may wish to add two numbers multiple times in your program, and you can define a function for this to add two numbers, and you can use your function again and again, or you can call your function again and again inside any other function. So let's see how we can declare function. But first of all, I must say that every C program has at least one function, and this function is called main, right? In the starting of this series, I have told you that this main is a function, okay? And every program has at least one function, and this function is called main. And whenever you execute your program, C searches for this main function and executes whatever inside this. So function more or less looks like this itself. It has a return type. It has the name of the function. This is an inbuilt name in C, which is main, but you can define a user defined function and give it any name, and then comes these bracket and then curly braces. So let's see how or what is the definition or declaration of this function, for example. So this is how you declare a function. This is not an actual declaration, but this is some pseudo declaration. I will declare a function in a moment. So function you can declare, first of all, you must have the type of function which it returns, and then you give the name to your function, and then in the bracket you can pass argument or parameters like this of some type, and inside your curly braces you write your code. Okay, so I will just comment this for now so that we can see as a reference, see it as a reference, right? Now you can define your function above your main function or below your main function, but there is a difference in using or declaring your function above and below, which I am going to tell you. But let's take an example. For example, we want to add two numbers using a function. So how we can do it? Or let's take a rather more simple example than this also. We want to print something using a function. Okay, so for example, I have told you that function start with a return type, and this time we, for example, we don't want to return anything, then we write void. Void means we are not returning anything, right? Then comes the name of the function. This name you can define anything. For example, my function name. Any name you can give it, and then comes your bracket like this, and it can take some parameters, and it cannot I mean it's your wish if you want to give some parameters to this function or not. It depends upon your requirement. Right now we don't want to pass any parameters, but we will see how we can use parameters with function in the next videos. So just for now we will not pass any parameter to the function, right? And then comes these two curly braces, and now in this function I want to perform some code. For example, I want to print something, print f, and we can say we are inside a function, right? And end line. Okay. Now for example, you want to do some more stuff. For example, adding some two numbers. For example, you want to add uh, two numbers and show the sum. So you can just write print f. This should be printf, not printf, and then you can write sum is equal to, and then you can write percentage d, and then you can add two numbers. For example, 10 plus 52. This is just an example I'm giving you. So you can just write your code inside a function. Any code, any numbers of line you can write inside a function, and then you can call this function in your main. And for calling your function, you just need to copy the name of the function as it is. Just copy this name, and then inside your main function, which is this one, you just paste it here. Okay, and then give a semicolon here. And what this do is, this function name is replaced by this code. Okay, so whenever you call a function, this code is also called in place of this function. So indirectly we are calling this code in here inside our main function. Okay, and the logical name we have given to this function, so that more or less the name of the function should reflect the code which we are writing. Okay, now we will run the code, compile and run the code, and it says sum is equal to 62, which is this line, sum is equal to 62, and then it write we are inside a function, right? So what happens here, your programs starts from here and goes to the second line and then comes here, and it sees that there is a declaration of function. So it remembers that this is a function which we have declared, and whenever our main function calls this function, we need to execute these lines. And because we are calling this function inside our main, it will execute this. Okay, you can use this function multiple times inside your code also, like this, 3 times. And for example, I will just change this line so that we can see it more clearly. And you can see sum 62 we are in the function, sum 62 we are in the function 3 times. Okay, so this shows that you can call a function multiple times in your code, and that is the basic usage of function. So function makes your code really readable and fast to execute, and you can perform this function or call this function again and again. So this makes your code really short and understandable and concise. Okay, now some people also like to call this function below the main function here, and there is no difference in declaring the function below your main or above the main. But if you want to declare your function below your main, you just need to prototype your function. Just copy this here and paste the declaration here, right? And I will show you, if you don't do this, what happens. If I don't prototype this, I will just delete this and try to compile my program. It still runs, but when you prototype your function, then you are just saying your C program that there is a function called my first function name which we are going to define somewhere in our code. So your C program comes here and sees there is a function with a name, my function name, which is defined in our code. So it goes from here to here and see the definition of the function. This is the definition of the function, and this is called the prototyping of the function or forward declaration of the function. And then it goes here, and whenever your main calls your function, it knows that this function is defined here. Okay, so it's a good practice whenever you define a function below your main, just prototype it like this. And what I mean by prototyping, you just need to copy this from void to the function, not the curly braces, but from here to here, and just paste it here and give a semicolon here after this. Okay, and run it once again and it will execute fine. So this is how you can use functions in C. There are different kind of function. For example, function which takes parameter or functions which returns some value, which I will show you in the next videos. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment and subscribe, and bye for now.